Somebody said if you don't like playing with LeBron, you wouldn't like playing with Kobe. Bro, you guys got to stop these narratives, man. It's not that I didn't like playing with Bron, you guys. And I don't want to go into detail about it. Some of y'all comments just be so asinine.
Kyrie Irving has recently reflected on his early years with LeBron James in Cleveland, revisiting a period when the Cavaliers were still rebuilding after James' 2010 departure and struggling to find stability as a franchise. Drafted first overall in 2011, Kyrie entered a team that was far from contention, with Cleveland posting 21, 24, and 33 wins in his first 3 seasons despite his emergence as a high-level scorer averaging over 20 points per game. While fans often focus on the later championship run, Kyrie has spoken about the difficulty of developing in a losing environment where expectations, pressure, and roster instability were constant, shaping both his growth as a player and the eventual dynamic that formed when LeBron returned to Cleveland in 2014.
You guys make it about one player. It is kind of just weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just one player that you have to promote. Like, we had like solid players on our team. When you're playing with somebody like Bron or somebody that you guys like to compare him to, it's a different animal. It's a different journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're automatically expected to be at the top of the charts, the top of the league. Every time you play with Bron, it's going to be a lot of media attention. It's going to be a lot of back and forth of narratives. It's going to be about a lot of spun narratives. It's going to be a lot of politics. It's going to be a lot of shit that a lot of people don't see in front of the camera. And for me, I was just a young person trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? It's not that I dislike playing with Bron at any time.
He was carrying a massive offensive load early in his career in Cleveland, often having to create everything himself just to keep the team competitive, which led to the development of some inefficient habits like over-dribbling and forcing shots under pressure. Kyrie Irving has since admitted that those early years taught him both confidence and flaws in his game, as he was essentially learning how to be a franchise leader on a roster that wasn't built to win. Just as he was entering his 4th season, the typical breakout window for elite young guards, everything shifted when LeBron James announced his return to Cleveland in 2014 through the Decision 2.0, instantly turning the Cavaliers into a championship contender and repositioning Kyrie from the face of the franchise into a co-star role alongside a returning superstar, fundamentally altering his development path and career trajectory at a crucial moment.
I only wanted to see him be an MVP of our league. I only cared about his success, and it just didn't align. Yeah. It just didn't align, and we was able to win a championship. Yeah. That's the craziest thing. We were still able to win a championship, and we could never align.
After 3 years of losing in Cleveland, Kyrie Irving finally stepped into what should have been his breakout moment as a franchise cornerstone. But everything changed when LeBron James returned in 2014 and immediately shifted the Cavaliers into a championship or bust structure built around his leadership, narrative, and legacy. Kyrie, still just 22, found himself transitioning from the guy to a co-star in a system where LeBron's presence dominated every storyline, every expectation, and every media conversation, often reducing his role to fitting into a larger championship blueprint rather than defining his own path. That shift intensified under relentless media framing, constantly comparing him to roles like Robin to LeBron's Batman, even as Kyrie produced all-star level performances and developed into one of the league's most dangerous scorers. He has since reflected on how playing alongside a global icon came with layers of public narrative, media politics, and behind-the-scenes dynamics that fans rarely see. Yet despite all of that complexity, Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Final became the defining moment of his career. Tied 89-89 with under a minute left, Kyrie hit the legendary step-back 3 over Stephen Curry, sealing Cleveland's first championship in 52 years and delivering 27.1 points per game in the series, including a 41-point explosion in Game 5. Still, much of the spotlight after the win centered on LeBron James' iconic chase-down block on Andre Iguodala, shaping how the story was remembered in mainstream media, and adding another layer to Kyrie's long-running reflections on recognition, narrative, and legacy.
You know, I'm playing like so fucking happy and so proud and to watch him and continue his growth and whatever the case may be. And at the same time, I'm so fucking mad at the same time that I am not his running mate.
Kyrie Irving's legacy has been one of the most debated in modern NBA history, and much of that discussion traces back to Cleveland. After helping deliver the Cavaliers' historic 2016 championship alongside LeBron James, Kyrie authored one of the defining moments in league history with his game-winning three-pointer in Game 7 while averaging 27.1 points in the finals. Yet the aftermath of that title often became centered on LeBron's declaration that the comeback victory strengthened his greatest of all-time case, shifting much of the spotlight toward LeBron's legacy rather than the extraordinary role Kyrie played. A year later, Kyrie was even better statistically, averaging 29.4 points per game in the 2017 finals. But Cleveland ran into a historically loaded Golden State Warriors team featuring Kevin Durant and lost the series in 5 games. As criticism around the Cavaliers' roster and future intensified, Kyrie made the controversial decision to request a trade, seeking the opportunity to lead his own team and build an identity outside of LeBron's shadow. That move sparked years of debate about his leadership and personality, with narratives often extending beyond basketball itself despite his continued All-NBA caliber production when healthy. Stops in Boston and Brooklyn brought more scrutiny, but his latest chapter in Dallas has reshaped the conversation. Playing alongside another ball-dominant superstar in Luka Doncic, Kyrie has shown he can adapt, lead, and thrive within a championship-caliber system, helping guide the Mavericks to the 2024 NBA Finals with a strong and efficient postseason run, even though the team ultimately fell short of winning the title. In recent interviews and live streams, Kyrie has also hinted that the public never saw the full story behind his Cleveland years, suggesting that behind-the-scenes dynamics, role changes, and unspoken tensions complicated what many remember as either a perfect partnership or a failed experiment. According to Kyrie, the truth lies somewhere in between, and he believes that one day, when the politics of the league are no longer a factor, the complete story of that era will finally be told.